Welcome to News Beacon, your trusted source for breaking headlines, global insights, and sharp analysis from around the world. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. In the early hours of this morning, while most of North America was just waking up, the Canadian government in Ottawa made a quiet but seismic announcement. There was no fanfare, no dramatic music, just a few lines delivered at a press conference, but the impact was immediate and profound. The news hit like a bombshell, sending shockwaves across both sides of the border. Within minutes, headlines blared, social media exploded, and people everywhere were left asking, did Canada really just do that? The announcement? Canada is now charging Americans a toll to drive the Alaska Highway, the only land route connecting the lower 48 states to Alaska. This isn't just any road. It's a lifeline, a historic artery built with American sweat, money, and sacrifice during the dark days of World War II. For decades, it's been a symbol of cooperation and shared purpose between two neighbors. But overnight, everything changed. Suddenly, American families heading north for summer vacations, truckers hauling goods, and even U.S. soldiers stationed in Alaska are being treated not as friends or partners, but as customers at a foreign store, expected to pay up just to use a road their own country helped build. The Trudeau government's message is blunt: pay up or stay out. No exceptions, no special treatment. It's a move that feels less like policy and more like a slap in the face to many Americans. Make no mistake, this isn't some minor bureaucratic tweak. It's a direct challenge to American sovereignty and pride. It's about more than just money. It's about respect, history, and the relationship between two nations that have long called each other friends. And who was the first to call it out? None other than Donald Trump. While others hesitated, waiting for advisors or polling data, Trump wasted no time. He didn't wait for focus groups or carefully crafted statements. He reacted instantly, channeling the outrage felt by millions of Americans. His response was swift, unfiltered, and unmistakable. Trump called the toll a disgrace and an insult, vowing that it would not stand. He promised to fight back, to defend American interests, and to make sure the voices of ordinary citizens were heard loud and clear. This is the kind of leadership many Americans say they've been missing. A leader unafraid to stand up, even to a close ally, when national dignity is on the line. It's about drawing a line in the sand and saying, enough is enough. Now, the world is watching as Canada's polite explanations clash with Trump's righteous anger. It's a diplomatic standoff, with both sides digging in and neither willing to back down. But this isn't just about a toll or a few extra dollars at the border. It's about something much bigger, a test of respect, sovereignty, and the balance of power between neighbors. The question now is clear. Will America let another country dictate the terms of access to its own citizens? Or will it stand up and demand the respect it deserves from even its closest friends? The Alaska Highway, once a symbol of unity and shared sacrifice, has suddenly become the front line in a much bigger fight. A fight for national dignity, for respect, and for the right to chart our own course. And as tensions rise and the world takes notice, one thing is certain: this story is far from over. The battle over the Alaska Highway is just getting started, and its outcome could reshape the relationship between two nations for years to come. The Alaska Highway, also known as the Alcan, isn't just any ordinary road. It's a legendary ribbon of pavement that stretches for over 1,390 miles, winding through some of the most remote and breathtaking landscapes in North America. From the forests of British Columbia, across the wilds of the Yukon, and finally into the rugged heart of Alaska, this highway is a true marvel of human determination and ingenuity. Built at breakneck speed during World War II, the Alaska Highway was a miracle of engineering. In just 8 months in 1942, thousands of U.S. Army engineers and civilian workers carved a path through dense forests, swamps, and mountains, connecting the lower 48 states to Alaska through Canada's vast and untamed wilderness. The project was considered impossible by many, but necessity and wartime urgency made it a reality. For military families, the Alaska Highway is more than a road. It's the only way to move to Alaska by land. Every year, convoys of vehicles make the long journey north, braving unpredictable weather, wildlife, and the sheer isolation of the route. For many, it's a rite of passage and a test of endurance, connecting them to new beginnings in the last frontier. For Alaskans, the highway is a lifeline. It's the main artery for groceries, fuel, building materials, and all the supplies that keep remote communities alive. Without the steady stream of trucks and deliveries, shelves would go empty, and businesses would struggle to survive. The highway supports not just families, but the entire Alaskan economy. Without the Alaska Highway, the state is essentially an island, cut off from the rest of the country except by expensive flights or long, unpredictable sea voyages. The cost of living would skyrocket, and the sense of connection to the rest of America would be even more fragile. The highway is essential, not a luxury. In the harsh winters when snow and ice make travel treacherous, it's still the only reliable route for critical goods and emergency services. It's a lifeline that can't be replaced. The Alaska Highway is the backbone of the Alaskan economy and way of life. It supports tourism, local businesses, and the daily lives of thousands who depend on it for work, school, and family connections. Every mile tells a story of resilience and community. But now, Canada's toll on the highway feels like a tax on our ability to be a whole country. It's a barrier that makes life harder for those who have no other choice but to use this road. They know we have no other choice. For many Alaskans, the toll is a reminder of how vulnerable their connection to the rest of the country really is. The highway was built in a spirit of cooperation and shared sacrifice during a time of war. American and Canadian workers stood side by side, overcoming impossible odds to build something that would unite two nations. Now, that spirit of unity has faded, replaced by a cold, transactional relationship. The Alaska Highway remains, but the sense of partnership that built it feels like a distant memory, leaving Alaskans to wonder what the future holds for their vital road to the outside world. Canada claims the toll is about rising maintenance costs and fairness. They say Canadian taxpayers have paid for a road mostly used by Americans. They compare it to US highway tolls and frame it as a practical, responsible decision. But the highway's been there for 80 years. Why now? Some say it's political, a way for Trudeau's government to look tough and score points. There's also the environmental angle. They'll say it's about reducing carbon footprints. But really, it's a cash grab dressed up as climate policy. It's cynical and dishonest. By midday, Trump had responded, directly, loudly, and without filters. He wasted no time making his position known, seizing the spotlight with his trademark bravado. The cameras rolled as he stepped up to the microphone, his voice booming across the crowd and through every newsfeed in America. There was no hesitation, no carefully crafted statement, just raw, unfiltered emotion, the kind his supporters have come to expect and rally behind. He called the toll a disgrace and a slap in the face to America. Trump's words were sharp, his tone unmistakably outraged. He painted the move as an insult not just to him, but to every American who values national pride and sovereignty. The crowd responded with boos and shouts, echoing his anger and amplifying the sense of injustice. He reminded everyone the road was built by Americans, for Americans. Trump recounted the history of the Alaska Highway, emphasizing the sacrifices made by American soldiers and workers during its construction. He spoke of the highway as a symbol of American determination and ingenuity, a lifeline carved through wilderness by sheer willpower. This wasn't just a road, he insisted. It was a testament to American grit. Trump didn't talk about budgets. He talked about respect. He shifted the conversation away from dollars and cents, focusing instead on dignity and national honor. For Trump, this was about more than money. It was about standing up for the country and refusing to be pushed around on the world stage. He accused Trudeau's government of taking advantage of American friendship. Trump claimed that Canada was exploiting the goodwill and generosity of the United States, turning a neighborly relationship into a one-sided deal. He questioned whether Canada truly valued the partnership or simply saw America as a resource to be tapped. He threatened consequences, maybe a toll on the St. Lawrence Seaway, maybe trade actions. Trump made it clear that if Canada wanted to impose costs on Americans, the United States could respond in kind. He floated the idea of new tariffs, restrictions, or even a toll on Canadian goods passing through vital American waterways. The message was unmistakable. America would not sit idly by. Trump's message was clear. If Canada wants to play hardball, so will he. He promised to match any move with equal force, vowing to protect American interests at all costs. The crowd erupted in cheers, energized by his combative stance and unwavering confidence. This is why his supporters love him. He fights back, unapologetically. They see him as a champion who refuses to back down, someone who stands up for the country no matter the odds. For them, Trump's defiance is a source of pride, a rallying cry that unites and motivates. The conversation shifted from Canada's budget to American strength. What began as a debate over a toll quickly became a larger story about power, respect, and national resolve. Trump had turned a policy dispute into a moment of patriotic fervor, reminding everyone that, in his America, no slight would go unanswered. Canada responded with calm, measured statements. The transport minister called for rational discussion and insisted the toll was just about infrastructure funding. They doubled down on talking points, maintenance costs, user pay principles. Behind the scenes, they didn't expect such a strong reaction. Now, they're stuck, back down, and look weak, or hold firm and risk a bigger conflict. Their strategy? Wait, hope the storm passes, and keep issuing calm statements. But they may have underestimated the symbolic power of the Alaska Highway and Trump's ability to tap into American anger. The real victims? Ordinary people. Military families moving to Alaska, already stretched thin, now face hundreds more in tolls. Retirees, snowbirds, on fixed incomes may be priced out of their annual journeys. Small Canadian towns along the highway depend on American travelers. Fewer visitors mean lost business. The toll could cripple the very communities it's supposed to serve, and it sends a message. Americans are no longer welcome guests, but paying customers. Decades of goodwill and friendship risk being replaced by resentment and cold transactions. The economic impact will be huge. The Alaska Highway is a commercial artery. Everything from groceries to construction materials travels on it. The toll will raise prices for Alaskans, acting as a tariff on nearly every product. Alaskan businesses will be less competitive, facing higher shipping costs. Tourism will suffer. Fewer people will make the epic drive. The Canadian government might gain some revenue, but it could cost Alaska and the Yukon far more in lost business. What's next? The ball is in Washington's court. Expect formal protests, diplomatic meetings, and phone calls. But with Trump, things could escalate quickly. He's already threatened retaliation, fees on Canadian shipping, new tariffs. This could spiral into a trade war, hurting both economies. Trump's goal: make it more painful for Canada to keep the toll than to remove it. Canada is betting the US system will restrain Trump, but they may be misjudging the mood and his resolve. This is more than a toll dispute. It's a defining moment for US-Canada relations. Are we true partners, or just neighbors looking out for ourselves? Canada's toll puts revenue over a century of goodwill. Trump's response has forced the issue into the open. This is about sovereignty and respect. The outcome depends on whether Canada values its relationship with the US more than a few million in tolls. The Alaska Highway, once a symbol of unity, is now a battleground of national pride. For America, it's a fight that must be won.